Hello and welcome back to another review of the Bad Batch here on Starlight Beacon, man. This is episode 8, and what an episode it was. Happy Friday to everybody out there. Um, yeah, man, I'm ready to talk about this one. This is a really good one. So first and foremost, definitely want to get everyone's ranking of the episode right off the bat on a scale of 1 to 10. For me, it's a 9, and it's primarily due to a longtime fan favorite character making a return. But definitely want to hear from you all. Where do you rank this episode? What do you think about it? We're going to talk about a lot of things that happened in the episode and what this episode could be setting up. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and share this video if you're watching this on the replay. Also, too, I just realized that the Twitch link on StreamYard was disabled, and I don't know why. It did tell me this. So I will figure that out and then get that back online for the next episode. But see Daniel saying a 9.25. Hey, I feel you on that. I got it at a 9, so 9.25 I can understand. But yeah, so let's jump right into it. First thing, we did continue. We were still on Braca, as we kind of talked about in the last episode. They never left the planet, so it was safe to assume that they were going to be back on Braca at the beginning of this episode, in which they were. Cool to see something else. Was the some more detail on the scrapper gear for on Braca, because it is very much in it's the same outfit that Cal Kestis start out wearing on the Jedi Fallen Order, from the poncho down to the, well, minus the helmet, but cool parallels. I think that there'll be some more connections to Fallen Order in this series. More than likely not in this season, but later down the road I could see things being connected. Also with the Andor series and with Kenobi, I think there's a lot of connections that will be that can be drawn from across multiple mediums within Star Wars, especially that within this series. Depending on how long it will go, we know it will be more than one season at least. Captain's Log says, "Happy Friday, Coop. This episode was a solid 8 out of 10. Okay, 8 out of 10. I can rock with an 8 out of 10, man. I don't think, my estimation is that there won't be many episodes or many rankings below an 8 for this one. But yeah, so, the scrappers have called the Empire, and of course they are responding. I mean, the first person that we see, Crosshair is back on Camino. He's heard the report. He reports it to General Rampart, or Admiral Rampart, and he's basically done with the clones. He's completely focused on War Mantle, this War Mantle program, whatever that is. And that's his main focus. He doesn't care about the well-being of Clone Force 99. He doesn't care about them being returned alive. He just wants them eliminated. So that's the order he gives, much to the dismay of the Kaminoans, who then call their own resources to get the Bad Batch out of there. So I think it's safe to assume, based on that conversation, that Fennec Shan is under the employment of the Kaminoans. But they say, they need to put more bounty hunters in the field. They got to make sure that this asset, which I think is Omega, I don't think it's any of the other members of the Clone Force 99. I think it's Omega specifically that they need alive, and they just want to ensure that happens, because if they lose Omega, then whatever the contingency is for them is basically eliminated with her. So that happens. Fast forward a bit, the task force, Crosshair's task force, arrives on Braca, and he surrounds them. He knows Clone Force 99's playbook. He knows Hunter's playbook, and he uses that to, against them. And the whole scene in the interior, the showdown. Once again, Crosshair versus Hunter. This time, Crosshair has the upper hand. He's got the advantage, but thanks to the quick thinking of Tech and Echo, they use the artillery battery, fire that, and basically destroy the whole platform or the level that they're on, which temporarily knocks out the Imperial forces, including Crosshair, and allows them to find another escape route, which Crosshair has already sort of anticipated, and has another squadron of I almost called them clones. Well, they technically are clones, but they're stormtroopers now, ready to intercept. That was a interesting scene. We saw that in the trailer as well. We saw the scene where Crosshair is hit with that ion blast, but in this we get a lot more detail as to what happened. The Clone Force 99, the Bad Batch, they're trying to salvage any of the armament that's valuable, anything of value on the ship that they could sell in order to pay off their debt to Sid. So they're trying to be as resourceful as possible. They're now trying to think like people on the run. They're no longer soldiers. They're no longer have the backing of the Republic. So they've got to do whatever they can in order to survive. And that buys the Empire time to catch up to them. And so anyway, the plan that they enact is pretty clever. They don't have a way out, so they make their way by blowing up the engine before what is it? The exhaust? I'm assuming that's what I'll call it. Blew that up so that they could escape before the ion engine disintegrated all of them. And then in that process, that ion engine exhaust gets redirected at Crosshair and the team of stormtroopers ready to intercept them. So that was very interesting. And then I'm trying to rush through this because I got to talk about the cameo there at the end. My man Hunter, they get separated. Omega and Hunter, they get separated from the rest of the group. They go ahead to get to their ship. Crosshair is badly wounded in the ion blast. He's got like this, his entire face gets bandaged. He's got the breather on. So like that is going to be something that he's going to have to deal with for the remainder of the series. And so, as we're getting to this escape, Crosshair knows that they're going back to their ship. So he tells them to make sure that the troops that are stationed there are ready to intercept them. They call and they get no response, and cut away, and we see the stormtrooper bodies sprawl out on the ground. So first things first, for me, I'm thinking about the conversation that the Kaminoans were having, and when they said that they were going to call in another bounty hunter, I was like, okay, it's probably young Boba, because if you all remember, the old season 7 footage that we saw back when Clone Wars got canceled, they showed some footage, and in one of those pre-production concept animatics, that they had put together. It was Boba Fett, a young Boba Fett, around the age he would be for this Bad Batch series, facing off against against Cad Bane, and in that sequence, they both exchange fire, and Cad Bane shot hits Boba in his helmet, which explains why he's got that divot in his helmet, or that dent. And where Boba Fett shots lands, we don't know. It was never revealed whether or not that shot was going to be lethal or what. So I'm thinking, Boba Fett has connections to the Kaminoans. He was raised there. I wouldn't be surprised if they still had some line or of contact directly to Boba Fett, and that's who they would be calling to intercept the Bad Batch, which would also open up the opportunity for Omega and Boba to interact at some point, which I think will still happen. But that was not the case. Instead, the man who it was is Cad Bane. Now, that was a huge surprise. I was not expecting that at all. I was not anticipating to see Cad Bane. For those of you who don't know, who didn't watch the Clone Wars, the last time we saw Cad Bane, which is the blue bounty hunter at the end that kidnapped Omega, the last time we saw him was in Crisis on Naboo, which premiered. That was in the season 4 of the Clone Wars. That was episode 18. That premiered back in February of 2012. So it's been 9+ years since the fans of the Clone Wars and fans of Cad Bane, like myself, and one of my favorite characters from the Clone Wars, that's the last time we saw him. So 9+ years, and this dude is on screen. We have I don't remember seeing any leaks or anybody talking about Cad Bane making an appearance in this show. So that was a complete surprise and a welcome one. But it is interesting that standoff that they had, in that sequence with Hunter and Cad Bane was very similar to that, to the animatic that we saw at Star Wars Celebration for the canceled season 7 of the Clone Wars, which of course was not some of those, like the Bad Batch animatics that stayed. The Ahsoka stuff stayed, but then the Siege of Mandalore, that was, I believe, what Disney and what Lucasfilm, I think that was the added budget coming into play. So, but the Boba Fett stuff, that got scrapped. That was not in season 7, so that animatic is technically not canon. So that kind of sort of was the last we saw of Cad Bane, if you want to count that. I don't, because it's not canon. So it is interesting that I think that they took those animatics, of course, and took replaced Boba with Hunter and let it play out the same way to an extent. Like I said, we don't know whether or not Cad Bane actually was killed, whether or not that was a lethal shot that landed in that animatic is never shown. So man, that's very interesting, which brings up some other interesting things for the series, because Boba Fett, we got the Book of Boba coming up, we got Fennec Shand already in the series. Boba is around, he's making his name in the underworld. It's very, very likely that we will see Boba Fett in this series, and I think that entire sequence that we saw, those animatics for the canceled season 7 of the Clone Wars back in, was it like 2014, 2015, whenever they showed those, I would not be surprised if they held on to those and they've been repurposed for this show, and that we will still see that showdown between Cad Bane and Boba, but Boba will be working with the Bad Batch, helping in whatever capacity he can, and that will lead to the confrontation between Boba and Cad Bane, and we'll see the outcome finally of that confrontation, or at least that is my hope, because Cad Bane being around at this point in time, with, as far as I can tell, with Jango off the table, Cad Bane is like the baddest bounty hunter in the land at this time period. So if Boba can knock off Cad Bane, like that, make he's now king of the hill as far as I'm, because I don't know what other bounty hunter would you put above Cad Bane in this time period. Like I don't have one. He's because he is that dude. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And maybe it won't play out that way. Maybe they won't have this confrontation in the Bad Batch. Maybe Cad Bane, you know, maybe we won't see Cad Bane again. Maybe he'll survive this series and we won't see him again until the Book of Boba. Who knows? There's so many possibilities now with this character returning. I would like to see him stick around longer because he's a very good villain, and he's a very good adversary for the Bad Batch because, like he said, he's faced a lot of clones. He's taken out a lot of clones. He's taken on very high value targets, very skilled targets. He's taken on Jedi, all types of figures. So, he's someone to. He's a great villain for this series, and I don't know, what are your thoughts? I'd like to hear everybody else. Comment section's pretty quiet right now, so I'm gonna give you guys some, because I know I just went on a whole tangent just there, but I'm excited, man. Cad Bane, that's my boy. Let's see. There was some other stuff too, outside of the Bad Batch, but I'm not going to talk about it on this show per se because I'm gonna keep it on the Bad Batch. But there was some other news that happened. The Inquisitor series rumors, George Lucas possibly returning in some capacity. I might do a video on that. I don't know, maybe tomorrow morning sometime. I don't know. I've never done the morning stream, so I might try that. Like, get up in the morning, talk Star Wars real quick, and then go about my day. Who knows? I think there's a comment. Did I miss one? Question. Okay, there it is. It took forever. Question: if Cad is ever in a live action movie, who do you think could pull that off? Man, so I don't know. That's a great question. I don't have a fan casting for Cad Bane, but whoever does it has to have like a tremendous amount of swagger, because he does have that. He's like, and that voice is also something that's very important because his voice is as iconic as his character is. So whoever they cast in a live action would have to be able to voice, pull off the voice. And let me see who the voice actor is of Cad Bane, because that's a great question. Because that's like Darth Vader, right? Like James Earl Jones in the voice of Vader is like, they're synonymous. Like, you don't have one without the other. So I feel the same way about Cad Bane. Like, if this is the first time you've heard this character, or the first time you've seen this character in Star Wars, like, you can, that voice is very unique. So I would imagine you'd have to get someone who could pull that off. Corey Burton is the voice actor who voices Cad Bane. You know what? He looks fairly young. I don't know if he actually acts. Let's see. See, I don't have my split screen. Apple updated, and for whatever reason, now my computer does not pick up my second monitor. So I don't know. Apple, that's all I can say about that. I won't say anything. But it's frustrating because having a dual monitor is so helpful in moments like this. So pardon me if I do not address a question or a comment because I can't see it. Let's see, does he have any acting credits? Seems like it's all voice work. Now, it could be something interesting that could happen. Is you could it'd be hard to dub over the voice. That'd be a hard sell to dub it. It's easy with like a character like Vader or any other character where the face is covered, because then you can have anyone come in and dub over the voice. But yeah, that without a face covering, that makes it a little tougher. Yeah, no split screen. Yeah, so Corey doesn't. Looks like all of his credits are for voice acting. So, um, yeah, but I mean, someone who can nail that voice can bring the physicality and the swagger of Cad Bane. I'm cool with it. Like, and I, of course, they got to do their homework and take the character serious, because, like, his quirks and his mannerisms and all of that have to come across in live action as well. Like, you got to sell us on this character, or your portrayal of this character, because he is a fan favorite. It'd be no different than Ahsoka, and Rex and everyone else Tamora Morrison, of course. He's gonna, he's already proven that he can do that. Yeah, man. What do y'all think about Boba and Cad Bane facing off in this series, though? The more I think about it, it's like, what, that would kind of take away from, it could possibly take away from the series, being that you're moving away from the Bad Batch. So, I don't know, but I would like to see, I'd definitely like to see that showdown at some point. From what I understand, there will be some flashback sequences in the Book of Boba. Now, I don't know how far back these flashbacks will go, but they will be showing. The show will showcase what Boba Fett has been doing in his absence. I'm assuming most of that would be, his time since he has escaped the Starlight Pit. Probably they'll show him escaping, but I don't know how far back beyond that they'll show. Also, what is it? War of the Bounty Hunters, new comic book run by Marvel. Go check that out. That's gonna be a good one. First issue came out, I believe, last week. Highly recommend it. I'm down for a battle of the bounty hunters, but I'd like to see them in a bar scene in the show, at least. Old-fashioned Western standoff. I can dig it. I can dig that. I could definitely dig that. That would be cool. Or similar to what they did in the Mandalorian season 2, in that when the Sasha Banks character, I forget her name, and Boba Fett had that showdown in the bar. That was really cool. I love how they choreographed that. Love how they choreographed it. How are we? 25 minutes in. All right, I'm gonna stay around for 5 more minutes. Hey, let me know. I'm thinking about 10 o'clock tomorrow morning doing a stream just for Star Wars, because there's a lot of news I haven't covered. There's the Obi-Wan set photos and the Kenobi rumors, the Andor series stuff with George Lucas. There's also his rumored involvement. I don't know if that's been corroborated. Well, I've heard it's been corroborated. I don't know who corroborated this story, so I'd have to do some more research on it, but I would definitely like to talk about it tomorrow, probably around 10 a.m. And then the Inquisitor stuff, and anything else. There's a lot of Star Wars news. I've missed a lot of stuff because I haven't been doing Star Wars Sunday, primarily because we've been shifting our streams away from the weekends onto the weekdays. So, just trying to get into a weekday routine of that, or I could do it on Monday morning or Monday evening. Yeah, Monday evening probably work better. I don't know. Need to find a young Clint Eastwood. Absolutely. Like, yes, that type of gravitas would definitely be needed because he's got to have that swagger. You know what I'm saying? He's got to understand the assignment, bro. This is Cad Bane we're talking about. This is the Clint Eastwood of Star Wars. That's a great analogy. It's a great analogy, man. Man, I can't wait. That just got me excited for the Book of Boba all over again, because I'm pretty sure that's just going to be a spaghetti western in Star Wars, which is like, I mean, is there a better combination? Not really. Not really. What else we got? Daniel Craig playing Cad Bane. I am not opposed to that at all. I could, yeah, because then you could just modulate his voice a little bit. I could totally see that. That's not a bad casting, especially if you want to get a name. You know what I'm saying? Someone that people will recognize and someone that people can get excited for. Daniel Craig would definitely be it. I don't know if he's interested. Whoa, you know what? He was a stormtrooper in The Force Awakens, so Cad Bane, yeah, that's a really good casting. See, I don't like stuff like this because then it gets me excited, and then if it doesn't happen, I'm like, "Argh." But you know, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. That's a great casting, though, man. That's wow. Yeah, I could rock with that one. I could definitely rock with that. Oh man, I'm feeling good. Alrighty. Any last questions? We got 2 more minutes. See, okay, now here's one thing we gotta talk about. How long is Omega gonna stay kidnapped? Because I don't think for what do we got? This is episode 8. I'm thinking she'll be away for at least until at least episode 10, right? 10 or 12. It's supposed to be 14 to 16 episodes, I've heard. That's been the rumor. No one's confirmed that officially. But yeah, I'd have to imagine it's going to be, then she's not coming back next episode. That would be a waste. And if she did, that would be like horrible. I'd have to drop my score on that episode quite severely. So I'm thinking like what, at least 2 to 4 episodes. Oh, and speaking of, I forgot, gotta go back to the Discord real quick because I need to address some things that were said, comments about this episode. Yes, Echo. I do believe I still am on that hill that Echo is not going to make it out the season. If anything, I do understand your point. You, Captain Slog and Callisto brought up some interesting points. But I would like to remind everybody that everyone except for Tech, no, he did take a shot because he took a shot in the training ground. But all of them have taken some pretty tough shots, some potentially lethal shots in this series. The integrity of that armor is definitely superior to the stormtrooper armor, but how long can that integrity hold up? I don't know. Like, if anything, this show is showing us that they aren't. I feel like they are implying that these characters are not going to be around for the long term. Like, I just don't see it, and I just feel like Echo's story is complete. I'm going to stay with that because that's just what I feel like. He is the safest bet. I don't want to see it happen. I'm not rooting for him to die. I'm just saying if there's a casualty in this season, he's probably going to be the one. Where do you think she is? Omega. Um, I would say so. I would be surprised if she is back on Camino already. There's always like some sort of detour, some sort of stop off um, that prevents them, from getting to their immediate destination. Um, so I don't see Cad Bane. I mean, I could see it happen, but it would be a departure from the trend of things, especially within this show and the Clone Wars in general. Just how Star Wars and these kidnappings go. There's always a stop off, and then that allows for the heroes to like something always happens that allows the heroes to catch up, and then they're able to usually intercept before anything bad happens. Now, if she does make it to Camino, that would be very interesting. Very interesting. But I wouldn't be surprised if Cad Bane stopped off on okay, now there's another planet that we saw in the preview. I believe it's Raxus. It's very possible that either the Bad Batch will go to Raxus in order to, try to get some clues as to who this bounty hunter was, because they don't know who Cad Bane is. I could see them going back to Sid, telling her what happened, and Hunter can describe to Sid what Cad Bane looked like, and I'm pretty sure she'll be able to identify that's Cad Bane and probably send them to Raxus or some other mission to do something, and then she'll tell them where he may or may not be. I don't know. Fennec Shand is another player in this. I could see a situation where Fennec, there's a bounty for Omega, so if she finds out that Cad has Omega, she might go after Cad just to take Omega from Cad to deliver to the Kaminoans. That's an option as well. But all that leads to potential for Omega to escape. Put some respect on Echo. Look, I have nothing but respect for Echo. I've followed Echo's entire life with him starting out in Domino Squadron and the Clone Wars. I got nothing but respect for Echo. It's just that compared to the other characters on the screen, he's already completed his arc. Now, that's not to say they can't create a brand new arc for him. But one, they've already said that he's not a real member of the Bad Batch. He's not an enhanced clone. He's not part of Clone Force 99. That kind of sort of writes him out. And the newer characters, they are the ones, the Bad Batch were introduced in season 7 officially, and they've got the most room for growth and for development. He's running out of room. Not to say maybe it won't happen in this season, but when they start dropping off these characters, that's all I'm saying is my money is on he'd be the first one to make that noble sacrifice, because that's what it's going to be. Anyway, I'm going to call it here. Thank you all for tuning in. Wonderful episode. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, especially if you're watching this on the replay. I do read all the comments. Share these videos, please. Wonderful. Helps us tremendously. Make sure you follow us on social media. We are Certified Gumbo on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, and yeah, we also have a Discord. If you're not in the Discord, what are you doing? I'm going to drop a link into the comment section right about now. And we also have a coffee page. If you love the content that we do on this channel, man, you can support us further by donating. It's a minimum of $3. If you don't, a like, comment, and subscription would go as far. So appreciate you all for tuning in. It's been a wonderful pleasure, as always, to talk about another episode of the Bad Batch here on the channel. And we will see you next week here, same time, as always, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for episode 9. So I always say, peace, love, blessings, and may the force be with you always.